So in today's satsang, we will be acknowledging the suffering of our deepest obstacles so we can truly heal and overcome traumas with the support of the divine light and grace. As through the divine consciousness is what truly nourishes our soul and heals our humanness, the human aspect at the deepest level. So at this era, at this time, there is much more awareness, much more education about traumas. The awareness is growing and expanding very well. And through this knowledge, we gain deeper insight, deeper awareness to recognize what still creates certain challenges, deeper obstacles. And from the level of the psychology and how traumas wire up in our system, they create certain filtering and do not allow us to see with greater clarity because of the filtering that is still wired and veiled with a certain life experience that you've had, or several minor ones, or certain circumstances that have changed your wiring system. These may be seen as frozen energies, distorted wiring, and they do bring a lot of further challenges in our lives. And if it's not you yourself that have been through some challenging past life experiences, I'm sure you have some people around you that have. And so becoming more informed of traumas and how we can support that is very essential to all of us. And it's also important to acknowledge it, because yes, if we speak from our deepest true essence, we are of course beyond all of that. when we speak from the place of our humanness, we must acknowledge our deepest obstacles. We must acknowledge any traumas so that we can resolve them, heal them. And the true healing happens when we open to this pure divine light. So what I mean by this is that when we look at the psychology or how things are wired up from this level, you can only do so much. The healing is limited. The capacity is limited. A human being can only do so much. But as we begin to open our higher consciousness, we start reconnecting with a higher light. That higher light permeates within us ever deeper. It encompasses any traumas, these frozen energies, this wiring system, in a such greater way that yes, it may bring up more of it because there is more higher light present, so thus it brings it up more clearer, so to speak, but at the same time it's being encompassed with a higher light, a higher love, meaning that trauma is healing on a much deeper level. So the higher the level of consciousness, the deeper the healing takes place. The higher we open, the deeper we go within us. And that is the beauty of the higher light. It's not that through the higher light we are negating the humanness, but what we are ultimately doing here is we are bridging the gap of unconsciousness. And through bridging the gap and integrating the higher light, we are resolving the deepest obstacles, thus integrating that higher light, divine light, into this humanness. So this is the process of becoming a divine human. Yes, it's an all-encompassing, but of course there is a process in the middle. There is a process of resolving these very challenging energies. They do require your greater strength, which is your higher light of consciousness, because without that it is not truly possible to truly heal yourself in your deepest level. Because it is only by opening up to the highest light that can permeate at the deepest level in you. All right? And we must find a balance here. We must find a balance, because if we are only fixated on our past, on our traumas, yes, we may spiral even further deeper into that, and that doesn't necessarily mean you are gaining a higher light to support it. On the other hand, if you negate the humanness, if you try to escape what is within you unresolved, and you escape into the light of divine, and you escape into the blissful light of divine, and yet not taking care to integrate that light in this here and now, we are also missing the point, isn't it? It is not integral. That is not an integral way. Now, at the deepest level, you may still be finding yourself running away from your humanness. It's not complete, it's not integral at all. So we find a balance, how to bring a higher harmony, to bridge the gaps of unconsciousness, to resolve the frozen energies that actually create our biggest obstacles to move forward and transcend these deepest challenges of our lives, connected to our lives, attached, entangled with life. So finding a balance is the way, so that you neither spiral down in one direction nor negate any humanness and find some kind of retreat in that escapism of higher light. Okay, so it is very important for us to acknowledge that, be truthful to yourself, to see where you generally are, where your focus is placed upon. And in this way, it will surely be the most healthiest way to approach the life that you live in the most integral of ways. So something else to share with you is that we need to acknowledge that traumas or challenging obstacles may have become very normal to live in a certain way. In other words, you may say it's like hardwired, normal. You don't know any other way. And that becomes a borrowed identity. It becomes a borrowed identity created by your past, of which in those times you may have had no power to resolve what was going on and how that was happening. So thus, you became powerless. And through that powerlessness and even unsafety or abandonment or any kind of abuse that one may have undergone, we then borrow that identity, that filtering. And that is so far away than our natural authenticity. So until we transcend our past, well, we are bound to be confronted by it. So there is no mistake at all. What you experience as part in your life, there's no coincidence here. From the bigger picture, life is happening for you, because from the deepest level, what is unfolding and coming up, it's to be resolved, healed, and for you to be liberated from that. So instead of resisting and revolting against what we are confronted by, at first we may want to recognize that you are here in this body, and you are here in this body, and in this body, in the here and now, you are safe. because that is one of the most challenging ways to integrate and resolve these frozen energies, is because of this heightened danger that comes part and parcel with traumas. And how most of the time when a person has been through traumas, they feel very unsafe or even live out of their body because it's too intense to live within the body. So many times there is an automated escapism, even unknowingly. The moment one senses some danger, it tries to escape itself from this vehicle, the physical, the emotional, the mental. It wants to escape it. And that is why we are bound to keep confronting the past, because we do need a higher light to be able to heal and resolve this in a much deeper way. So, of course, one of the keys to liberating ourselves from these repeated, painful impacts, yes, first of all, it lies in exploring our conditionings, how we function, how we approach life, how we see ourselves moving and approaching what we are experiencing. So becoming more inwardly aware, becoming more attentive of how the conditionings are playing out through you, because that helps you to become more inwardly aware of and seeing the clarity, having a deeper insight. And that is, of course, the beginning, the beginning to transcend these past programs that we have adopted, that we have borrowed as identities. And it is through that where we begin to unlock into this bigger freedom, to return and to become our most authentic selves again. So this is a whole process. Yes, dealing with trauma, it's not something that comes and goes so easily. No, many people spend years resolving traumas, years. But know that, first of all, if you have experienced traumas and you're still struggling with them, know that you can still return to full consciousness. Absolutely. It might be slightly slower because generally there is a bit more difficulties for someone, because a lot of traumas come in the way, so to speak, so there is a lot more healing to do. But the goal is still to progress to your utmost authentic self. Why is that? It's because from that higher light of God, the true light of divine, once you start really connecting with that and receiving that light, it is the most harmonious light that you can ever experience. And it is because it's so pure in its nature, that will truly nourish you. That will truly heal you from the deepest level possible. So as you gradually open your higher consciousness, in the midst of it all, you are, dealing and taking care and resolving what's in the way of your authentic self. And even as you open into divine light, you will still be healing these deeper obstacles. But it is the light of divine that will support you so greatly. And this is where we say to surrender. Surrender your pains, surrender your burdens, because it is only through the light of God that those aspects can truly be healed once and for all. So in a way, you are not really doing it yourself, but you are stepping aside this ego I that has always tried to protect itself, not to feel that pain again, not to go back down into those deepest difficult energies. But when we step aside that and we allow that divine love and divine light to nurture us in such a way that nothing compares to that. Nothing on this earth can truly bring that true healing. And this is why I tell so many of you that I meet, during our private sessions, that we should not get stuck by only focusing on the challenges, on the obstacles, on the traumas alone. Because as you work your way into higher states of consciousness, then that will be your greatest support. And that will be your greatest support. And it's okay if along your path, your life may seem to be more challenging than others. Okay? Everyone has his own life experience. Some people have a less challenging past, a less challenging life experience, and others have it more difficult. Okay, either way, it is okay, because there is no mistake that you are here incarnated as this human being, but within that there is a soul here that has chosen to be here exactly as it is. And it is through this lifetime that you are experiencing here is a great chance, a great opportunity to liberate your humanness, the suffering that is experienced from the humanness, but also you have an opportunity is to liberate your soul. To liberate your soul from any engagements in the lower worlds, because your soul too is working through so many lifetimes of unconsciousness, so many lifetimes that now is the time to recorrect it. And now is the time to redirect your focus back into divine. So use this life as an opportunity to resolve anything that comes your way with the least resistance possible, because there is where you'll surely have more ease and more support. Yes, and also as you further open into the pure spiritual planes of the divine, here's where every time you So just connect and start having access to this pure spiritual plane. You will also receive the grace of so many masters there. Once you start peeping and having access there, then these masters know that you are ready. You are ready to be uplifted by their grace. And once we start to, let's say, uproot ourselves from this particular reality here, well, we start to have so much more clarity of whom we truly are in that divine awareness. And through that divine awareness, we'll have even further insight and clarity of what is still fixated in the lower planes, in the humanness aspect with its own four bodies included. But that too will start to reharmonize, because it starts to touch the higher light of divine, and it starts to rewire your emotional body, your mental body. It shifts it according to the degree of light of divine you're connecting with. So we see from the deepest level, it is by trusting and surrendering to the true ultimate God in you that you will truly heal yourself from the inside out. And I would call that as a very integral way, because I see sometimes people having a wrong idea that by meditating into divine and merging into the one at some level, you may assume you are negating this humanness here. But it actually works the other way round. It is by that luminous light of divine where you will have the deepest clarity of it all in this humanness and human aspect. And I've never ever experienced such nourishment within the soul, within these lower four bodies that make up this human experience. I've never received something more profound than this divine light, divine love. It is the purest light, and is what really, really nourishes us at the deepest level and at the surface level too. Also, when we meditate, when we connect with the higher light, this is where naturally the lower vehicles of consciousness are recorrecting and realigning to that higher light. So that too is very integral, because step by step you are opening further and integrating that within yourself here and now. But as long as you are truthful to every present moment, this is the most healthy approach. truthful, willing to meet your deeper obstacles, and yet working with the higher light of God to resolve, to heal, and to clear out of your consciousness, but with great love and great kindness. And this is also another aspect for anyone who has great challenges with their traumas. It is to work more and more in a self-loving way, to learn how to be more compassionate with yourself, how to be more loving, how to make yourself feel safe within this body here. It's a whole cultivation of learning how to love, how to be compassionate, how to be kind, how to allow, because through that it also supports you to transcend and go beyond these obstacles. And it is a way of self-regulating. So there are many practices as well in the midst of a difficult moment. You want to bring your attention in the body. Sometimes you may feel numb or too panicked and not be able to be in the body. But then there are certain gestures that will help you regulate. And when you regulate yourself, this gives you the opportunity to release a certain amount of that frozen energy in your nervous system. Because traumas are held within our nervous system, and this is why that can be a little obstacle as to be able to sustain a higher light, because there are parts in our nervous system where maybe twitched or frozen or damaged in some ways. But there again, with the higher light, this begins to dissolve. It begins to rebalance. It allows you to have a greater strength in you. The strength is of the light. And all together with that, things will surely become easier for you to manage, for you to handle. So just to show you, since we are speaking of this topic today, one of the gestures that is highly supportive is to hold your body in this way, like a self-hug. And when you're hugging yourself in this way, in the midst of any challenging, traumatic reliving experience, you are regulating your nervous system and saying to it that you are safe. You are here in this body and you are safe. Because this trauma can't distinguish between the past and the present. That's why it keeps living that fear. So by holding yourself and relaxing yourself, you are signaling to your nervous system that you are actually okay, even though fear is present, and even though that fear may be so strong. And as you stay with yourself, you recognize that you are holding the container of this body that helps you as a more integral way of how you can process that frozen energy in your nervous system. So once you calm down, once you manage yourself in that most difficult moment, you come back in the body, you are present, and then you can go further in the meditation. And then you can connect with the higher light and all the tools that you receive, on your path with your meditations. And you want to reattune with that higher light because that is the most supportive. So we could say that we take care from both sides, from above and from below. Yes, and that is a very healthy way. Another practice that can be also really good is that you place one hand on your heart and one hand on your forehead, and you breathe from the forehead down into the heart and create a bridge. Because once again, people who have suffered from trauma feel very disconnected. And so in the midst of the most challenging energy, you may place your hands on the body that makes you feel safe, that your vehicle is here, safe, and then you bridge between the mind and the heart. You bridge that gap because there may be some energies there, and then from the head you place that hand on your belly and you bridge from the heart to the belly. So then you're becoming aware of these internal intense energies, but you're also signaling to your nervous system that you are okay, you are here, everything is safe. And that is a way how you can tap into, bit by bit, those frozen energies. And with your breath, with your presence, with the higher light, all together bring such a high support to you.